basically, Richard Nixon or JFK or those other people were basically saying that, they were calling people spies that weren't spies. Like they called Lee Harvey Oswald a spy. They called this other person a spy. And it was just a way to basically lock them up and then go steal the stuff that was inside their house, or other stuff. Like it came out too that a lot of people, like a police officer, can basically arrest you for 24 hours or something on suspicion. And it was coming out that after someone was arrested on suspicion for 24 hours, their house was usually broken into and lots of stuff was usually stolen from their house. So there was a lot of abuse going on, a hell of a lot. You arrest, and it happened, I guess, maybe to the Germans or some people, and probably the Chinese, and or some foreigners or someone that would, I don't know. Anyway, they would be arrested for 24 hours, and then their house would be broken into, and sometimes, like, they wouldn't be alone. They would have other people living at the house, and I guess that would be a situation where the police are actually breaking into a house, and it's like, well, now what do you do? Or saying, I don't know. Like, I don't know, but basically, after a lot of people that were arrested on suspicion, their house and their belongings were stolen afterwards. So it was happening a lot. And there's even allegations of the New Orleans Police Department basically stealing stuff in New Orleans during the hurricane. So anyway, and that's generally why you have the police department and you have the military. So it's like they're watching you and you're watching them. And the world's watching everyone else. Watching both. Anyway, so I don't really know. I really don't care. It's like, a bunch of people who I guess weren't epic and didn't have much, just clinging or grabbing to everything that they could possibly get. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just Lucifer Star, and and the neighbor of America and all this other stuff, and lots of things were told to me. I found out a lot of things, and some of them were very disturbing. And generally, like I say, at some point in time, some humans or Americans or someone, basically, probably Rick Bush or someone, basically told me to fuck off. They didn't need me, they didn't want me, and they didn't care. And my opinion of that is like, okay, fine. You don't have to know your creator. You don't have to ever have met me. You don't have to ever have seen my videos. I don't have to be on your fucking planet. And like, I don't really care. I'm 99 trillion years old. Put a bullet in my head. Abraham Lincoln killed me. I was nuked. And I don't know how many other times I've died and just don't remember it. I don't care. Like, why would I care? Like, I was epic and had spaceships and had the LSF colony ship, which was a very awesome ship, and spent a lot of loving years with humans or life forms that very much adored me and loved me and considered me their creator and the most awesome life form ever. So anyway, like I said, what do I care? It's just my vacation. Even $100 million to me is like, whatever. It's $100 million of my printed money. Printed on my printing presses, my Starline printing presses. It was my inventions that made a lot of things possible. And it's like, whatever. And my steam engines, stuff like that. But like I say, even I have to bow to like the Irish, who works very hard and pounded every single little rivet into one of my ships. Thousands of rivets and stuff like that. Thousands of man hours. And I love them for it and cared a great deal about them. I knew that their working conditions sucked, but I thought that in time it would change. And I thought that it was a valid and sound idea. And so did the Germans. They designed the ships, and the Irish were building them or something like that. A lot of groups played a part in it, just like the Germans and the British or English were doing aircraft and stuff like that. So, anyway, like I said, I wasn't really even America. I named America. So, America wasn't my starting point. But as I named America and owned America, I made myself the American president. The very first, or American leader. The very first leader of America. That you never heard of. Lucifer Starline. Like I said, I had a TV show called Lone Star or whatever. Basically, it was a stupid show, basically, about, something something, and I became the Lone Ranger. It sounded better, I guess. I don't know. But it just featured my horses and some stuff and blah blah, and I didn't, it was just cute. I was doing something, just to kind of like feel like it's me, but it wasn't me. It was just an actor and acting and stuff like that. Anyway, like I said, I mean, I just like to try and fit all my stuff, like on the Titanic and some of the other ships. I was just thinking, I was like, oh yeah, we can have this on the ship, and yeah, we can have that on the ship. Oh yeah, and we'll have that on the ship. And I was just putting all my stuff together and just like, I don't know, it was just something cool. I was like a kid in the candy store, a kid playing around, I was massively wealthy, and more wealth would come. And then from that, I was inventing other things and stuff. Anyway, and like I said, I had a whole planet of parents, basically. In like 1920 or 19 something, basically everybody in America or everybody in my country or countries basically looked at me as basically like their son. And like I said, it really moved me. It really made me feel loved to have so many people considering me like their son or something, like their child. Like they had their son, and they had like everyone had a son or a child, which was me. And like I say, I love them for it. And it was really nice, and they really cared about me and really worried about, what would happen, because I would be young in this world and I wouldn't know what was going on maybe at first. So anyway, yeah. So, and and like I say, I was worried about, the Irish were doing things for me and manning my battleships and my cannon ships and stuff like that, and doing stuff, and like people were calling them terrorists and stuff like that. And they're not just terrorists. There was some bad IRA people or some bad people, but well, the Republic was basically always bad because, like I said, Nixon pretty much started the Republic, basically, and it was a Republican militia or Republican Guard, basically, that was running around. They were just stealing stuff, and they would have a Republican card. Basically, they had a card, and they would put it, and it's like, there you go, and you better, take care of this person, whatever, like VIP cards, only they were called Republican cards or something. I don't know. I said, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there for it, and, it was just, I don't know, weird. And I don't really care. It's like, it's a bunch of free choice, free will people just doing stuff. Like I say, just like the Ku Klux Klan walking down the street going, fuck you, suck my balls. Oh yeah, baby, why don't you come and put your lips on this, and pulling up their bed sheets, basically, which had holes cut in them, because it was cheaper to do that than to actually put on a parade. And they could charge for the full parade amount from the account or something, and write themselves a big check, which they spent on drugs and alcohol. Like I said, there were orphanages, and the people that witnessed it, found out about what happened and went after them. But the money was gone; it was already spent or something. And I don't really care. It's like, it sucked. The parades were a really great thing that the children and the adults really loved, and they were my parades, and there were 3 accounts with money for parades and stuff like that, and the towns paid tax, basically, or paid money into account for putting on parades or festivals or events within the town, basically. And pretty much they wanted access to that. Just like the orphanages and stuff like that. Like I said, there's quite a few orphanages and quite a few of the big buildings, and basically they kicked out all the kids, and pretty much it was like the Republican whatever, or just this big building where they just moved in and basically used it as their own little like whatever, and the buildings became dilapidated and fell apart or whatever, and because they just kicked the kids out or raised up the taxes so high that the kids or the people couldn't afford to live there. Like I said, and there's a lot of other stuff there. They were selling property like 2 or 3 times and all kinds of stuff. Getting like 3 times value on a property. It's not even worth all that much. And then just being like, oh well, sucks to be you. And walking away. And I don't know if it's Republicans, but there's a lot of people doing a lot of things. Yeah, it was really bad. So, and it really had nothing to do with me. Like like I say, I mean, it's like, yeah, I was building a lot of houses and having my people build a lot of houses because of the fact that I had this dream where I wanted to actually put a roof over everyone's head. And I didn't want people to go hungry on my planet. So I was paying for things like that to be done. So everyone would have a place to live and everybody would be able to have food and stuff like that because I actually cared. And so, you know, like I had a very, very nice, very huge Germany. I had a very nice every country all my places were really nice, but I could do more. And so I asked my scientists to look into it to see what that would cost or what we'd have to do and see if we can actually maybe even make a change and actually even do that, accomplish that goal. So like I said, we had accomplished Panama and lots of other places. We had accomplished a lot of things, in our short time, and I thought that would be accomplishable. So anyway, it basically skyrocketed me to basically being like, this like Crimson God awesome dude, and basically someone else wanted to, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. It's like whatever. I mean, it's an epic thing. I wanted to do it. I asked my people to start working on it. They did. So, and later on, the Jewish people or the Germans and a lot of other people were like, yeah, you're the most awesome leader we've ever had. You actually cared about all this stuff. It's like, yeah. And also like getting the public made aware of radiation and also other carcinogens and poisons and all that stuff, and putting up signs, to warn people of dangers, and in multiple languages, no less. That was another thing, because there are people still walking in and getting hurt and stuff like that. I was like, well, maybe they don't read German, maybe they don't read the language. We should have it in a couple different languages. Just pick some of the main languages and have it printed. So a lot of the signs were becoming multi-language, just in case. So anyway, yeah, all that stuff, and I had a lot of good Irishmen, I had a lot of good Germans, and a lot of good other people. So for the most part, everything went off, was perfect and amazing and awesome. Yeah, and I wandered the galaxy of the universe for a long time. And so to Rodney and a lot of other people, I was like, well, I was epic. At least I was epic. And if I fell and blah, 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 which I don't think I did, I think they killed a lot of people and were really, really horrible people. And like I said, surprisingly, like I said, a lot of the mafia members were on my side. A lot of people were on my side. Even bad people that went to jail were on my side. I had like 98% unanimously approval. People went to jail were on my side. Thieves were on my side because I guaranteed the banks, the bank money, basically if a bank ever got its money stolen, I would replace it. Blah, blah, it's just printed anyway, so no problem. So even Bonnie and Clyde loved me. They could walk into a bank and they didn't have to worry about shooting anyone or getting shot, because, as long as it was just peaceable and all that stuff and no one got shot, we would just find you later on. If people started shooting, then we would start shooting back, and stuff like that. But and basically, so a lot of people actually, they got away with some stuff and blah, blah, and it's like, well, whatever. So some of them actually turned around and were like, well, we're lucky, we're going to support you. We found out about this, or something like that, and I don't know. Free will works both ways, works all ways, So I had a lot of friends I didn't even know I had. So anyway, and like I said, even Saul or someone, went against the mafia or went against his bosses, and we're like, don't you do it, Saul! Don't you do it! I don't know what he was about to do, but he was going to do something, and because I had given him steak and treated him like a real human being and just, been cool with him. Like, he didn't have to worry about anything anymore. He could just go to jail, and even though he's a bad person, like, I gave him a second chance. I was like, you know what? Just tell us what's up, what's going on, and go to jail, get some steak, you're done. And basically, he didn't have to look over his shoulder anymore. And he got to read and like full access to library, TV, everything, even contraral physics. So he had some semblance of life. even though he's in prison for the rest of his life, or at least a long time. So, and plus also my Witness Protection Agents program. By the way, even the Witness Protection Agency, if you're a murderer and a killer and a horrible person, like, you still go to jail. It's just that later on, maybe you get out, and at least your enemies don't know where you are. So, anyway, you're just watched. You just can't do anything ever again. So, a lot of people found my rules to be very amicable and maybe even too nice. Like I said, in the past or whatever, the way the Mafia and the way a lot of other people did, the way Jimmy Carter or whoever did it, basically, if you were in their way, but me being who I am, the great Lucifer Starline, and having existed for so long and been so epic and having countries in my name and everything else like that, I thought, well, I can afford to be nice. So I think I am. I will be nice, and we'll see if this actually works. It's like, because I was so huge. And like I said, I never really used to have a problem in the old days. In the old days when you were first created, or when life forms were first wandering around, there wasn't a problem. I raised you up, or my people raised you up, you were taught, you were educated, and everything was fine. There was really no crime or no whatever. And, you were just existing, in existence, young and impressionable and all that stuff. And we made sure that you learned how to exist, and then so on and so forth. So, anyway, whatever. I don't really care. Ask somebody else. Ask the 1.5s with exoskeletons how it was. Like I say, I just, when you first exist a life form, where you first bring a life form into the world, you have to teach it and help it understand what the universe is about, or about existence. Something I did and other people did, and blah, blah. And I don't know. It's a long, long, long time ago. I don't even know if it was really me. Exactly like that. And technically, in some ways, it wasn't even Brian. It wasn't me exactly. It's just what I used to be. So, like I say, they very much were trying to unexist me, but that just wasn't possible. So, anyway, whatever, And then a bunch of people made some really, really bad decisions. But not that many, just a couple. And they were really, really fucked. Like I said, by the time they realized what they had done, that's why I make these videos, and I told people, like, the truth about it, because it's like, well, this is why, this is what. That's what's going on, basically. I mean, otherwise, so, there are people out there, or some life forms out there, that are really, really fucked. They will be found, and they are going to be found by someone, and then they're going to be tortured or something bad. And there probably is no saving them. Like I said, a lot of life forms could wait until you died and then do whatever they wanted to you. And at some point in time, I explained it to the human race. I explained it to some people that, well, this is what I could do in the past, and I was X, or I was this. So, this is what could be done to you. This is what is possible. And so, it's mostly I was giving a benefit to my life forms.